Another week, another shattered dream, another promise sold to the highest bidder. Another Kenyan, rather hundreds, played like pawns in a well-rehearsed con that preys on one thing: hope. This is not fiction. It's not an outlying scam from the dark corners of the web. This happened on the familiar busy stretch of Moi Avenue, Nairobi, at the heart of a city that prides itself as an economic engine of East Africa. Chaos broke loose outside Trustpine Travel Agency, a name that now feels like a cruel joke. On Tuesday morning, the agency was stormed by dozens of angered Kenyans, furious job seekers who say they were conned out of their life savings. Not small change, we are talking hundreds of thousands of shillings per person. Someone paid as much as $500,000, selling a land, borrowing loans, emptying pensions, and even pawning family futures. All for jobs that, it turns out, never existed. They weren't there for negotiations. They had had enough lies. They weren't asking questions. They were demanding accountability.
Kwa watu wengi na country tofauti, kila mtu analia pesa tofauti. Yote nimepoteza yenye imelipwa ni 185,000. Nikiongeza na hii 22 ya return ticket juu yeye ndiye alinicost ni ilipe ya juu itafika 200.
The tension detectable. The heartbreak quite visible. They didn't just lose money. They lost time, dignity, an opportunity, and all above, trust. Take Faith Nasimine, a licensed driver and caregiver. She says she paid in installments, lured by the director's promises of secured employment in Mauritius. Jobs are waiting, she was told, so she did what men ruled. In a country where youth unemployment hovers at 35%, she believed, only to later find out, like so many others, that her belief was being cashed out.
Na nililipa first downstone nililipa 80,000 plus 145,000 za flight. Na mimi ni dereva na bado naweza fanya kazi ya caregiving. Sasa director alituambia yeye yuko Mauritius, kuna kazi ziko tayari. Ukienda kazi utapata, anza na kazi yenye iko tayari.
She wasn't alone. Beatrice Njoki paid nearly 200,000 Kenyan shillings for a ghost job.
Nilikuwa nimepata hapa kazi ya kwenda Mauritius, nikalipa 193,800,000, but hiyo kazi haikukuweko.
Eric Ochieng raised 430,000 Kenyan shillings to help his brother secure a brighter future.
Nikampatia 423,000 Kenyan shillings ili aende kupata kazi Mauritius. Lakini wakati alifika Mauritius, aliambiwa haizi ingia kwa sababu alikuwa ametengenezewa documents ya tourist visa.
What did they get in return? Lies and deportation notices. Some victims actually made it to Mauritius, only to find out that they were stranded at the airport, hungry, homeless, and ultimately sent back. 3 days, no food, no contact, no support. Just concrete flaws and growing weight of betrayal.
Toa pesa ya flight of which nikiinclude zote zinakuja 192,000. Of which ni mimi nisha travel hadi Mauritius yenyewe na kuna sikuweza kuaccess kwenda pande ile nyingine.
This is not a misunderstanding. This is not a bad business deal. This is organized exploitation. It's part of a worrying trend where travel agencies and fake recruiters hide behind glossy websites and official-looking logos to drain a struggling population of its last shilling. And what has been done? Well, according to the victims, they reported the scam to Central Police Station, but days passed, then weeks, and still, Trustpine Travel Agency remained open, operating, taking in more people like bait on a hook. Until one Tuesday like any other, when the victims decided enough was enough. But here's where it gets worse. The agency director, Rish Kamunge, didn't show up. Instead, her lawyer did. A lawyer who calmly informed the press that refunds are underway, but with deductions. That's right. The victims who are stranded, robbed, deported, and being told their money will only be returned after expenses will be removed. Expenses, mind you, for travel plans that led nowhere. Let that sink in. This isn't a refund, it's an insult.
The agreement we had with them is that some amount have already been used by the agency to cover expenses, which will have to be deducted. But eventually, some of the money will have to be refunded back to the parties who are aggrieved.
The most terrifying part, this is not an isolated case. This is part of a larger, unchecked ecosystem that thrives on desperation. We've seen this story before, even with government agents. Just different names, new destinations, fresh victims. While victims gather the courage to go public, the justice system crawls. No swift arrest, no frozen accounts. Just a lawyer with a PR statement and a door that never fully closes. Where's the outreach? Where are the regulators? Where's the Ministry of Labor? Consumer Protection? How many have lost their homes, their dreams, or their lives before someone steps in?
Mimi nikalipa 240,000 na yote ilikuwa inatakikana nilipe 350,000. Tukakuja hapa. Tulipokuja hapa tukachukua ombi, tukaenda huko juu. Tukaambiwa tuende huko juu kwa mandisi yao, tukaandikisha statement, wakatuitisha kila mtu 10,000. Hiyo sio siri. Na mtu afadhali akufe akipigania haki yake tafadhali. Msikuwe mnaogopa.
We don't just need justice, we need reform. We need laws that move faster than fraudsters. We need watchdogs that don't sleep. And above all, we need to remember this truth. When a society fails to protect its most vulnerable, it stops being a society. It becomes a marketplace. Where there's only one thing for sale, hope. And it's priced just high enough to break you. This is not over.